Hello guys, welcome to one more video concerning to Still.js framework. In this one, we are going to discuss about forEach directive, and those are the topics we are going to go through. Container versus items, looping through HTML element, and then the same with HTML. Still.js component or element. And inside this one, the third topic, we are going to see how to pass every single property of our component one by one, and the other approach, which is this one, which has to do with like mapping our data source to our component. So I'll start fresh. I have this folder that I have created before, and I will generate the project inside it. The project is generated. I will run the project now. Still serve. The project is running in another browser. I will go to our Chrome browser. Here we are. So what I will do next, I will create another component which will serve as our child component. So I will do still create component, and I will put inside app components, and I'll call it student list. So here we are. We have our second component. Let me check on them. Okay, this is the one we just created, and this is the one generated with the project. So what I will do, I will get rid of these default content from the home component. We don't need them. So like, what is a container when it comes to the forEach directive? So a container is any HTML tag that can wrap other tags inside. In this case, it can be a div, a span, article, section, and so whatever. It depends on what are you trying to do. This is what it will like define your container. So in this case, what I will do, I will just create a simple span. I will close this up, and this will be our container. So thing is, if we are using the forEach directive, it means that we are going, or we have some kind of data source that we are going to use to loop through it. In this case, I will create a student ds from data source, and this will be an array. And for each directive, every single element of our list, or of our array, needs to be an object. In this case, a JSON object. That's what I will do. I'll say, okay, first one will be ID1, and name will be Mario, and I will create three more. So this is the second one, third one, and the fourth one. Second one will be Anna. Uh, Third one will be Michael, and last one will be Kate. So this is our data source. Then I'll go to our container, and I'll say forEach, and I'll bind our data source. So this is our container again. So for the item, in this case, inside this span, I can put any HTML structure. In this case, I will start with a div. Just create a regular div, and this div needs to receive the each item property, and whatever comes inside this div is what every single element of our list will be mapped to. In this case, I have to bind every single like field I want from our list, I mean from our elements of the list. So I will say in here I'll have from the item the ID, and in here I'll have from the item I'll have the name. I'll save it. I'll go to the browser, Let me see if I saved it. Yeah, it's saved. I think I'll, oh, it's another, it's running in another port. So I'm in here, and here we are. This is our list. I will um, come in here and I will add one more element or item. I'll say 5, say a new Kate. I'll save it, save. Oh, go to the browser, and here we are. We have our fifth item from the list. So this is like by using like a regular HTML container. So let's say we have a form with a combo box and we want to bind this data source to our combo box. So what I will do, I'll come in here, I'll open a form, and I'll close this up. And in here, I will use the select tag, which is the combo box in HTML. And inside here, I'll specify the options or the option. So in this case, our select will be the container. Then in here is where I'm going to bind the data source. And in here is where I'm going to have the items with each item. And inside here, I will say that I will have from each item the name, and for the value, which is whatever will be assigned when I select any item from our combo box, I'll bind the ID. So just for the sake of seeing the result, I will create another state variable. I'll say selected student, and I will bind this selected student in here. This is selected student, and I will bind the selected student variable or state variable. And in here, I will bind to the value our state variable. So I will save it. I'll go to the browser. Here it is, our combo box. We are now binding it to our data source, and we see that the selected student is saying undefined. I will select a specific student, and we can see that whatever I'm selecting here is what we get in here from the value field. So this is another example. So now let's go to our looping to our any component that we created, in this case a still component. So we have our component here already. What I will do is I will pick every I will just say for now student ID and student name. It should be fine. And in here, what I'm going to do is I will just put a sample span, and I will bind every like every single um, state. You have the ID. I'll put dash student name. We should be good. Let me say name equals, column, and no, this is this is name, and this is the ID. I'll save it, and now I will embed this student list to our like home component, and I'll come in here, and again I have to create a container. Again, I will use a span. So you could just use anything you wanted, like like a div, like I explained in the beginning, a span, a section, article. So it depends on your use case. So and this span will be our data source, but in here our element will be in this case a still element, and for the component I'm going to specify the student list, and this will be like each item. Let me close the st element, and I will say that I will pass the student ID will be equal to from our data source will be the ID, and the student name from our data source will be the name. In addition to that, we have to bind our data source to our container. Let me save it. Let us go to the browser, and here we are. We can see all of them. I will just go to the component, to the child component, or to the student list component itself, and I will put a break role. Let me just see. Okay, here we are. We can see every single student, but now we are mapping to our child component, and we are passing every single properties one by one. But there is another way, which is by mapping our data source straight to our component fields. For that, what I will have to do, I will have to come here and I will say instead of student ID, it will be ID only, and instead of student name, it will be name. So what will happen in this case is uh, those same field names are going to be mapped to our component state variables. So I'll just change here also uh, to ID and name according to the declaration. And we should be good. Let me save it. Let me go to the browser. Okay, okay. This is because we are passing like every single properties one by one. I will just remove it because I'm now mapping to our data source. I'll save, and here we are. So just for the sake of checking the things, I'll say like let me see class, say math, and again every single item needs to have the same structure. I'll say biology, math, English, Portuguese, Portuguese. Okay, we should be good, but what I want to do is exactly to come in our um in our objects, I mean in our component, and I want to create the class variable. And in here I'm going to say is uh applying for, let's say, class lesson. And here we are. We can see like every single like properties from our data source now is being mapped accordingly to what properties we have on our component. So guys, this is what I wanted to share in this video. Thank you a lot. See you in the next one.